And stream.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
National math scores are slipping, but we're better than ever at division. No, something about this isn't adding up.
We're live, fellas.
Every day
Oh, hey.
a new battle.
Hello.
Hello there. Welcome to the Three Real White Guys neighborhood. Take off my slippers.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Good to have you all here.
This is Mike Keaton.
This is Mike Heaton with Three Real White Guys podcast. Welcome. It is Wednesday, May 21st. Is that right?
20th, Mike.
May 20th.
We're
Here
a
we-
few hours later than normal.
Yeah, it's been a long night. We've had some other obligations we had to take care of. We met a little later in the evening. Here with Jacob Dodds. That's Jacob Dodds right there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Jacob.
Trying to get logged onto the internet here.
Why do you need on
Interwebs.
the internet?
Well, in
And
case
this
I need
is,
to look something up.
Kellen Gracie.
Hey.
Good stuff. So, we have a very short episode today.
I don't know. We'll see how long we go.
Well, I think it could be a long episode too. We have lots to chat about, but I think the only thing that we really need to chat about is the fact that Trump created a slush fund to basically pay off his loyal supporters that broke the law, and also found a way to make all his taxes immune from further investigation by the IRS.
Isn't it amazing how when Congress asks for money for like healthcare or education or veterans benefits or things that actually help people?
No, don't have money for that,
No,
Jacob.
we don't ever
Can't-
have money for
Can't
that.
get
But,
money for that.
but 1.8 billion with a B
Yep.
to pay reparations to January 6ers.
That's I saw somebody on social media today was like, this is just white reparations. It's white reparations. I don't know how else to put it, right? You're looking at a scenario where you see, I don't even like that term because it kind of puts reparations in that category of awfulness, because these people don't deserve any recompense.
No, they
for
were
what happened.
convicted of crimes.
So not only were they convicted of crimes, but some of these people went on to do other crimes. Some of these people went on to like abuse children.
Yeah.
That's an actual fact. Like some of the people who are going to get these dollars, who are going to get taxpayer money for because they were at January 6th and got prosecuted for it, they went on to commit more heinous crimes, even worse crimes. And they're going to get paid out by the federal government, by you, by me, by anyone listening to this episode if you live in America and you're a taxpayer. That's bullshit, man.
Well, I think the other thing to keep in mind with this is anybody who's ever dealt with like federal grants or anything like that, like the amount of accounting that has to go into that money going out. But it appears that there are no real guardrails on the slush. It's literally a slush fund.
It's a slush fund, and it's a committee that determines where these dollars
Appointed by the president.
appointed by the president, and there's no oversight. There's no
There's
ability.
no congressional oversight.
No ability for Congress to step in.
That's who appropriates money, not the president, Congress. So
We
it's illegal.
We don't
You
have
literally
the
can't do
separation of
this.
powers anymore, Mike.
I mean, okay, we get these assholes on our website being like, no king protest. Well, we don't have a fucking king. We're America. Get your head on straight kind of shit. This is what we're talking about. You fucking morons.
Right.
I don't care if he calls himself a king. He's acting like a king. And this is one of those examples. It's complete, utter corruption. And if you don't see that, you're a fucking idiot. There's no other way to put it.
There really
There is
isn't.
no other way to put it. You can be a Republican, Democrat, whatever the hell you want to be. If you don't see this for what it is, you're dumb. You're just dumb as a fucking rock. There's no other way to put it. Sorry.
I really don't know where else to go with this, because it really is it's corruption and grifting in plain sight, and it doesn't get worse than this.
No,
Well,
it really
and
doesn't.
let's be clear on what the other part of this is as well. Is the other thing that happened this week was the IRS is now, as part of the settlement. If you remember, Trump sued the IRS for $10 billion.
Right.
with a B, 10
Right.
billion.
Wait, Trump sued himself. Let's be honest. The IRS is run by the Trump administration. He
Right.
appointed the people in charge. He got rid of the people that disagreed with him within that institution.
Well, he
So
sued
Trump
them-
sued himself.
He sued them for a breach of privacy, right? Because his
Right.
tax returns were leaked. But it was his IRS. Like, it happened under his administration.
So he is sitting on both sides of the table, right? When you go into a normal lawsuit, you have a plaintiff, you have a defendant, right? And you have a judge who's sort of overseeing the thing. In this scenario, Trump was all of the above.
Yeah.
All of the above. He was plaintiff, defendant, and he controlled the judiciary that was deciding it.
Ron and other people on our website, it wasn't Trump that was in this position. He appointed them. They do whatever the fuck he wants them to do. Quit lying to yourself. Like it's.
But regardless, $10 billion. I mean, he's never been worth $10 billion in his life, for starters. And the settlement agreement as part of this is that the IRS cannot now nor in the future ever investigate him, members of his family, or his business holdings.
In perpetuity.
Yeah, in perpetuity.
It
says that in great big capital letters in the settlement.
So this he has, because he was on both sides of the table and was both plaintiff and defendant.
And the guy that signed it was his former attorney,
Right.
who he appointed.
Right. His personal attorney.
Yep.
Who defended him in court against 34 felony convictions for which he was convicted, and he is a goddamn convicted felon. Let's not forget that. All of that adds up, and you have I struggle to think of a more perfect example of corruption that could possibly happen.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Trump never cheated on his taxes prior. Let's just say that. We know that's probably
That's a hell
not
of a stretch,
true,
Jacob. A hell of a stretch.
but let's just say that he didn't. What this effectively does is gives him license to cheat on his taxes now. And the rest of his family and his businesses.
That's the other part of this. It extends to his family, his business entities. Why? What the fuck did they have to do with any of this? Even if we accept that there was weaponization of the legal system as they're trying to claim, which is complete bullshit. Those people committed crimes. They attacked, some killed police officers. Even if we accept that all of that was legal, which it's not, even if we accepted that, why is there immunity for Trump's family members and his business entities in perpetuity into the future?
That's not how the American legal system works. It's not how our Constitution works. That is the actions of a dictator, the actions of a king, the actions of a horrific human being and their families that are taking advantage and ruining, just absolutely desecrating, taking a big ass shit on our country and everything we stand for. Period. They don't care. Is that good 90 seconds for you there, Kellen?
And this has been an episode of
We were like
Us.
Seriously. I mean, what else is there to talk about?
I don't even know. Like, I am so pissed off about this, and it feels like this broke a couple days ago, right? Monday? What is it? It's Wednesday.
Yesterday.
10:30 at night on Wednesday.
Earlier
Did it break
week.
yesterday?
I think it feels like it
Feels
been
like it was
it's been a
fucking
long
6
time.
months
The
ago.
settlement was yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
The slush fund, I believe, was on Monday.
So I read it, the headline, and then I read an article about it, and I was like, oh, okay, just another example of some bullshit.
I thought it was made up. I thought it was like
Right.
AI made this up because this could never happen.
Right, or I thought it was like another one of those things, because we see this all the time in the media where you have like a sensationalized headline,
Right.
and then you read it and you're like, oh, it's not as good as I
And
thought.
this
it
one was worse.
So I read the headline, I read the news, and I was like, oh,
Right.
okay. I went about my day, and I don't know, busy. I have shit to do, right? Like every other American adult.
Right.
But today it hit me, and today I'm like filling up my gas tank in my car, right? And I'm like going to get groceries, and I'm like, Jesus, everything is more expensive.
Wait, how much was yours today? You said you filled up your truck, or would you a Jeep Grand Cherokee?
Yeah,
how
it's
much?
Jeep Grand Cherokee with a 22-gallon tank, and it was $97.
A 22-gallon? Did you say a 22-gallon tank for $97?
Yep. $4.39 a gallon, I believe, is what it was.
I saw the cheapest gas in town today that I saw was $4.20, $4.19.99 or whatever the fuck, right? And so that's the thing. So you're like, oh my God, look at this. Look at all this shit. And bread is more expensive. Milk is more expensive. Cheese. I had to buy some cheese. I needed some mozzarella today. Cheese is more expensive. Beef is astronomically more expensive. Now you have the Fed coming out and saying inflation is so bad, we might actually raise interest rates. And meanwhile, this ass clown has set up a $1.8 billion slush fund with zero accountability that he can just hand out to his supporters. Now, I want us to dwell on this a little bit, right? Because $1.8 billion is a lot of money, and I don't think many people appreciate that because it's 1.8.
Right.
But if you boil that down, that's $1,800 million, right? That is 1,800 people that he could give $1 million bribe to. He could, because this is unaccountable. There is no oversight in this. He can write $1 million check to 1,800 people. Okay? So let's think back to 2020 and the phone calls he was making to Raffensperger in Georgia, or the Wayne County election officials up in Michigan, and any other number of battleground state election officials that we don't even know about, because those are just the ones we heard about, who were willing to come forward with phone records. You start adding that shit up, all of a sudden, that conversation with the Georgia election officials changed dramatically. If all of a sudden he calls and says, look, I don't need you to fuck with anything. I don't need you to change numbers or anything like that. I just need you to not sign your name.
Right.
And if you don't sign your name, I'll give you $1 million. No one will know about it. No one can trace it back to you because I have this slush fund.
Right. And he's been doing this for a long time. People don't. This is a blatant one that we've heard about. They just came out in the open and actually said it and put it out there, which blows my mind a little bit because they really are blatantly just openly corrupt at this point. But he's been doing it for a long time. You remember when he started doing post-election, or even before 2000, before he lost in 2020, he had all these online fundraising tools at his disposal. And it would be like, we're going to raise money for the Trump campaign. But if you look at the fine print, the Trump administration or Trump campaign can use this money for other things.
Steve Bannon went to prison.
Right.
Because they were doing that kind of shit, except they said, your donation dollars are going to go fund the wall. Right?
Right.
And instead of funding the wall, it went into funding Steve Bannon.
Right. It's 100% corruption.
He was convicted for that.
Right.
He went to prison for that.
And yet he's still a big name in the party and in the
Well,
movement.
it's because Trump pardoned him.
Right.
Right.
So he's out of prison now.
Right. That's it. Flat
How
out.
many other people convicted of fraud did Trump pardon? It's definitely a 2-digit number.
Right. So if you think this is about anything to do with any kind of issue that you care deeply about, like the border or immigration or pro-life shit, whatever it might be that you think is important to you, they don't. And the perfect example of that was this week alone. Guess what they decided to do? They decided they're going to close Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh.
You guys remember this one?
This is a good one.
Right? So a year ago, they were all about the anti-immigrant thing. They spent billions of dollars to go and round up immigrants. You might remember Minnesota. All this stuff has sort of quietly gone away for some reason.
Murdered a couple people.
Murdered a couple people in the process, basically violated people's rights, but more importantly, just terrorized anyone that is first, second, third generation immigrant, whether or not they're here legal or not, right? What they really did, though, what you really need to know what was happening in the background, this isn't even conspiracy shit. They were openly blatant about it.
No.
Companies donated to the Trump campaign hundreds of thousands of dollars to get him to win. Some of these companies, as Geocorp, I can't remember all the names of the ones that were prison.
I can't either. The corruption is so rampant. But you're talking about like private prison companies.
Yeah, private prison companies.
Right.
The ones that built Alligator Alcatraz. Can't even say it.
Right.
Right? $1 billion went into building that.
I think you might even be lowballing.
Yeah, it's over $1 billion. Over $1 billion. Think about this for a moment.
Yeah.
They installed a bunch of Morton buildings with chain link fences and some beds. That was the extent of it. It's not even a big facility, right? For $1 billion.
I wonder, were those no bid contracts?
They were 100% no bid
course
contracts.
they
They didn't give a fuck.
It was this fucking pool guy.
It might have been a school guy. But think about that for a moment. That's all the only reason they did this shit.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about immigrants.
No.
They had some people that could build prison for 1 year. They all walked away with millions of dollars. And they're like, okay, I guess we're done. And then they're going to tear it all down. In 2 weeks, they're going to tear it all down. Like that's all it's going to take to tear down a $1 billion infrastructure. That's bullshit. They threw up some Morton shit. No, sorry, Morton. You guys are a good company. I don't mean it.
That facility did not cost $1 billion. to
No,
build.
not even close. And even if it costs 90% of that, that's still $100 million they're pocketing. Like that's what this was about. It's what it's always been about. And we've been saying that since the very fucking beginning, that this is not about the issues you care about. This is not about your fears. This is not about your religion. This is not about any of that. It's all about a bunch of super wealthy people taking advantage of you, causing you to feel fearful.
Right.
And then putting programs in place that they're going to make a shitload of money off of that you're going to think you back, but it's all going to go to hell eventually. It's all going to disappear because they're going to walk away with billions of dollars in their pockets.
But that's so important, Mike. What you just said there is the fear mechanism. And that's ultimately what it boils down to is lately the GOP has just gone along to get along with Trump, right? And what they do is they go out and they stir the pot. Stir that pot, generate fear, make you hate the other because it's somebody who doesn't pray like you do, work like you do, live like you do, look like you do,
speak like you do,
speak like you do, whatever, all the above, right? And they focus that energy, they focus that hate on the other, and then they point at them and say, that person is the reason why we need to do XYZ. And they make you okay with justifying being a shitty person so that they can make sure you vote for them and look the other way when they hand out no bid contracts to their billionaire friends.
Okay, so this is the key, and we've disagreed on this in the past. This is the key. What we as Democrats have been looking at that as for a long time is evil, right? We look at all these people who are like, oh, they're just anti-Semitic, or they're racist, or they're sexist. Yeah, sure, they are. But that's irrelevant here. And I don't mean to be dismissive of that when I say that, so I'm sure I'm going to get people, that's not irrelevant,
right.
blah, 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 right?
That's super important, of course.
It's important, yeah. But the reality is that the reason they're doing it is to make money. Period. End of story. They're not doing this because they're hate-filled people. They are laughing their way to the bank.
RFK Jr. is doing his anti-vax shit and his skirting around, like we talked about last week, because he's heavily invested in these companies that are like alternative medicine and anti-vax, and exactly. This is what you can do. You can shove a horse pill up your ass, and that'll solve your problems. And by the way, I sell the horse pill. Here it is for $19.99.
We saw this way back in the day with Ivanka. What was it? She had some kind of, was it peanut butter? I can't remember what she had. There was this thing where Trump, during his very first year in office, suddenly had all these jars on his desk that Ivanka was trying to push.
I missed that one.
Well, they're always grifting something.
Yeah, it's just all a grift.
It's always a grift on something. And the other thing that happened this week, and we talked about this briefly last week, is that Trump had kind of the egg on his face over the Trump phone. You know, people had pre-ordered those at $500 a piece.
Yeah, the Trump phone, yeah.
And they weren't getting them. And they basically had come out and said, "You're not gonna get them."
Yeah, right. And then
and now all of a sudden this week they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna ship them," but they've started shipping them to like media outlets for reviews. And I think it was NBC News said this is a rebranded. I think it's like a Samsung.
No, it's T-Mobile,
and it's a 2-year-old phone.
It is a 2024 model of a T-Mobile phone
that's been rebranded.
And it's produced in China.
Yeah. And it's interesting.
It does have, however, Truth Social preloaded
on it.
Yeah.
And an 11-stripe flag.
That was the other part that got me. I was like,
so it was AI?
Well, no, but on the back, on like the golden shell of the bullshit phone, at the bottom is a flag, right? And it says Trump Mobile below it. But if you count the stripes, it's 11 fucking stripes.
I mean, it's supposed to, I think the intent, to be fair, I think the intent was the word Trump is supposed to be the 13th bar. but it doesn't look
That's
like
not
it.
how America works.
It doesn't look like that at all.
No.
And not only that, but again, it's too odd that all of a sudden, like, he goes over to China and all of a sudden they have these phones.
Right.
Wait, they did?
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together, Jacob. But yeah, you're right.
I really think that those came back on Air Force One.
Oh my God, you're probably right.
Wow.
He brought back a few hundred boxes in the cargo bay.
By the way, it was Goya Foods. You remember that? The Goya food thing
Oh,
back
that's
in
right.
2020.
That's right.
He was sitting there on the Oval Office with a bunch of Goya products. It was right up there with him touting Tesla right in that first year
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about China for a moment. Okay.
Yeah, how we that was the point of our episode last week, with snakes on a plane, because
Right?
they had literally just landed there, and now we see the aftermath of that whole thing.
Snakes on a plane.
And it was exactly what we said it was going to be.
Complete nothing. I mean, corruption and nothing.
I mean, Iowa Republicans want to pass laws to prevent foreign countries, i.e. China, from buying our farmland. Trump basically said, whatever, dude, you guys want to buy this? Go for it.
This asshole jumped on a plane with a bunch of rich guys, went to China, and said, "Okay, whatever you want to do. I just want to sell you 200 Boeing jets," which was fewer than people thought he would sell. And I want to make sure that you buy soybeans. And they agreed to buy fewer soybeans than they were buying before he got elected for the second
Right.
time.
And
That's where we're at.
openly says, buy Iowa land. Just take our land.
Just take it.
Buy it. Because
Totally
that's who
fine
he's in
with it.
bed with. He's in bed with wealthy people.
Well-
He's in bed with greedy people.
It-
Corporations that want to buy your land as an investment. Period. That's
Right.
it. He does not give a crap about Iowans.
right. As long as it benefits him
Yeah.
in some way, he's on board.
Yep.
That's
That's
just the way it is.
And it's not an opinion, people. This is not a biased opinion.
Now, you can go out and look this up.
Yeah.
These are facts.
It's
Right.
he's proven it over and over again at this point.
Yep.
You don't have to like them. I don't give a flying fuck if you like Democrats. If you're okay with what Trump's doing, then you're no longer American.
No, there has to come a point where you have to acknowledge that you made a mistake.
Yeah.
We're there, guys. Well, I thought we were there already a few months ago, but we're there. We're there right now, where you cannot go about life, civic life in America today, with a straight face and say Trump is a good president.
Well, these people that are still saying he's doing what I elected him to do. What?
right.
But you guys were all about no new wars.
Economy.
You were all about the economy, gas
Egg
prices,
prices.
grocery prices. Like, all of that is out the window. I
Yeah.
mean, he's told us twice now that he doesn't really give a shit that you're struggling. I mean, his exact words last week, we talked about last week, that he said, I don't think about the average American's financial situation at all. And when pressed on gas prices this week, which went up again, his response was, I think it's peanuts and people need to just get over it.
Because he's making billions of dollars. Of course he thinks it is peanuts for him.
3,800 trades were made by Donald Trump on the stock market in the first quarter of this year. Someone did the math. That's one stock trade every 9 minutes. And the volume was significantly higher before some incredible announcement was made, or before he went on TV to spout to promote a company. He did this with Palantir. He did this with Intel. He did this with Dell.
Right.
And you go back through, he has to, because he's a federal employee, he has to file certain financial statements. And the financial statements came out and showed that he made 3,800 stock trades, individual transactions, in the 3-month period at the start of this year. A lot of it was right around the Iran war that he started. I don't know how else to put it. Like, how do you continue to support this? How does anybody look at this and say, this guy, he's for me? Unless you're a fucking billionaire hopping on the plane and going to China with him, yeah, of course he's for them.
That's all he's for.
But me, you, our neighbors, everybody in Henry County, there's no one in Henry County that benefits from this.
No.
0 people in Henry County benefit from this. And I would even go as far to say 0 people in Iowa benefit from this.
There's a couple. There's a couple. I mean, honestly, like with all due respect, Harry Stein is benefiting from this.
That's
he's the wealthiest guy.
He's seed guy, or
yeah, he's the wealthiest guy. And granted, he is he's losing shit. He's losing his ass on ag right now because of fertilizer costs and all the kind of stuff that goes in that. He's a seed company guy,
right?
But at the same time, he's not just invested in that. He's invested in everything because he's a billionaire, right?
Right.
Billionaires are making a crap load of money. The stock market's not doing bad, guys. Just let's be clear. The stock market's not doing bad.
No, it is though. It's not. It's like flat.
It's flat.
It's flat.
But it's higher than when he took office.
Right.
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 And it has gone up.
Right.
Right. But that has not equated to wealth for 99% of Americans.
No, absolutely not.
And that's exactly why Trump keeps touting that.
Right. It's the only number he has.
Well, not only that, but that's how he lives.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a billionaire, so he's lived and died by the stock market for years. He doesn't think about the price of groceries or the price of gas or whether or not construction costs are too high or vehicles are too high or you can't buy, durable goods or any of that kind of stuff. Like, that's not how he views the economy. He doesn't view the economy the way economists view the economy.
Right.
He views it through the lens of a billionaire because that's all he knows.
Right. And economists view the economy through the lens of the consumer.
Right.
And we are a consumer economy. And when you start screwing consumers over and consumers can no longer spend money, can no longer afford the basics, consumers all of a sudden are spending their money on Spam and Hamburger Helper more than they are on anything else. And they're making decisions about, can I fill my gas tank versus can I buy medication versus can I do X, Y, and Z for my kids? You don't have a robust economy anymore. You have an economy where people are struggling.
Right.
And I look around and even the people I know that have money are struggling in some way.
Right.
And they're pissed. And they're like, I have a nice life. I have a nice house. I have nice things. And I'm still feeling this.
Right. So every episode we do, we tend to go after Republicans, but we never hold back from going after Democrats when there's an opportunity to, and it's legitimately justified.
Absolutely.
And I have no problem right now. I have a big one I want to bring up that's very much in line with what we've been talking about. If you'll appease me for this one, I might get in trouble for this one. I'm sure I'm not a good Democrat. I've told you guys that 1,000 times. None of us really are. But when we openly, after the presidential debate in 2020, openly came out and said Biden has to go. He has to drop out.
Yeah.
Right. We got so much hate.
So much.
I mean, we have some of the best engagement we've ever had on social media during that time.
Right.
People calling us a bunch of white men who need to leave these decisions to women who know what they're talking about better than we do, and stop trying to get engaged and all this shit. And whatever, we dealt with it. We processed it. It is what it is. We were basing our opinion on the opinions of a lot of women in politics actually before we came out and made our own statement. He had to go.
If I remember correctly, we endorsed a woman.
Exactly, as part of it as well. But their take was like they knew that the white man had a better chance than a woman in being elected, and there was too much at stake. That was their point, and we honored that, and we talked about it, quite frankly. But at the same time, we got told flat up to shut up. We've had our moment in time. White men shouldn't be talking right now. We need to trust the opinion of women who are dealing with more. You know what? What's that?
We did.
Well, that's the thing. Is like we actually got our opinion for the governor of Massachusetts. There's a bunch of people that we actually went and got. Christina Bohannon was one of them who was running for Congress here in Iowa. We didn't come out flippantly and just say he has to go. This is shitty. You can't have this old senile guy, as our president and running for office. He has no chance. We didn't say that. We went and heard the opinions of all these other people, but we still got grilled on it, right? And I bring this up cautiously because they're not wrong. Like we don't understand the impact it's going to have on women that because we're not women, right? I get you. I get it. But I'm going to say something right now. It's going to piss off a lot of people. The one thing we do understand, I know this is your clip here. You might be able to cut here for you, Kellen. I got one for you.
Here we go.
We do understand white men.
That is absolutely true.
Okay? I'm staring right at the camera. We are the 3 real white guys. We understand white men. We may not understand women. We understand rural white men
100%.
better than you do. Okay, I'm just saying it flat out. I'm not talking to rural white men. You understand yourselves too, right? We understand it better than a lot of women podcasters, a lot of super left politicians, advocates, all that kind of stuff. With all due respect, we're here. We live it every day. We engage with it online every single day, and they're ready to jump.
They are.
You understand it? Listen to what we're saying. They're ready to jump.
We have to give them a landing space.
We have to give them a safe space to land. If you don't, and we give them some extremist, oh my God, Gaza, and all these other shit that are these far left stances. They're not bad stances. We agree with you on those stances, okay?
Right.
You're not wrong. But they're not ready for that yet.
Right.
We have to give them a safe space to land. This is critical right now. And right now, all we're hearing online is how it's about electability. We hate the term electability. We need to stand up for what we believe in, and we need to get, our case is a guy named Travis Terrell, right?
Terrell.
Running for Congress against Christina Bohannon.
Right.
Right?
In the Democratic primary.
Primary in our district, right? Terrell's clearly taking the stance of like, how do I get enough college students to come out and give me a chance to actually make an dent, right? That's that sort of far left. I'm going to go after Gaza, anti-war.
The Democratic strategy of 2020.
Yeah, exactly, right.
2016.
Exactly. And I don't disagree with what Terrell's bringing, but Terrell hasn't taken the time to build the coalitions. He hasn't gone and worked with labor. He hasn't gone and worked with the teachers union. He hasn't gone and worked with the LGBTQ plus groups. He hasn't gone and worked with women's rights groups. He hasn't gone and done any of that shit. He just found the one or two issues that he knew he could go across the edges on, and he has riled his base up and not done the actual work and found a way to get the far left folks to get riled up, which is fine. Get riled up. Support Travis. Go vote for Travis. Make elections. But don't you dare come after fucking Christina Bohannon. Okay? You know she agrees with you. You know deep down she agrees with you, right? You know that she is going to vote to probably impeach Trump, even though she said she probably wouldn't, with a lot of caveats, because she can't. She is giving rural white men a safe space to land to vote. Okay? You get it? You get how that works? I'm sorry I'm being an asshole here, but clearly, shut the fuck up at this point. I'm tired of this. We have to win. Terrell is not going to beat Christina Bohannon, or he's not going to beat Miller Meeks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's just not. He looks like he's come directly from his basement playing video games. He doesn't shave. He doesn't even dress worth a shit. He is not going to get those voters that are ready to find a safe landing space from the Trump train.
I
you get
feel
it?
attacked, Mike.
I'm sorry. Right.
Jacob's over here like, shit, I haven't shaved in 3 days.
Jesus.
Well,
like
so two things.
Sorry,
Mike.
I'll shut up. I'll get up my fucking
Two things, Mike.
Yeah.
First off, I speak for yourself. I mean, I had to take my Armani suit off to come in here. Kellen could throw a Carhartt sweatshirt at me and put it on.
That's right. I forget. Yeah, you had the Carhartt.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
The producer handed out Carhartt shirts last week, right?
Yeah. But no, I think the other thing that's really, really important for the people that your comment is aimed at, Mike, is to understand that the people that voted for Donald Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024, a lot of them were not MAGA extremists.
Mm-mm.
They were people who have voted for Democrats in the past.
A shitload of them were independents. They weren't even Republicans.
Yeah. And they voted for him because they believed in the snake oil that he was selling. And we see how that's turned out, right? I mean, he's made plenty of promises that he did not keep. There were plenty of things that he said he was going to do that he didn't do it. And there's some people that can say, oh, well, that's just politics. But to sort of piggyback on what Mike was saying, the point is that we can't, if Democrats want to win, they have to be moderates. They have to be. Because most of the electorate is moderates.
I'm even going farther than that. I've been on my soapbox here, but you're right, and I believe that wholeheartedly, especially in Iowa. But I think it's worse than that. I think that I'm contemplating if I say this, but I'm going to say it because I'm there. You know, it's late, right? It's late.
It is late. Yes.
We are so caught up in what we care about that we fail to see the bigger picture of what it takes to win an election.
Exactly.
It requires coalition building.
That right there is the most important.
That is key.
Yeah.
Because here's the issue. If you're screaming and yelling about how bad your ally is, it's because you haven't done the work to build a coalition where they have to listen to you for what you actually stand for.
Right.
That's the reality of it. You haven't done the work to get enough people to care about Gaza. And so you're screaming and yelling about your opponent, your ally, who is going to vote with you on everything.
Well, here's the hard truth on it. Nobody here is going to give a shit about Gaza when they can't figure out how to pay their bills.
Right. And I know that sounds bad, and you're absolutely right. There's a big difference between children getting killed by bombs and us being able to pay for gas. Clearly a difference, right?
Right.
But that's not going to change how they vote. I'm sorry. They're on the other side of the world versus what
No,
they're dealing with right now.
You're very much in a place of privilege if that is your single issue that you vote on.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
That's the reality.
Yeah. It's not in our opinion. This is not like that's the reality.
But if you're in a position where your number one issue is something like that, and it's not, I can't afford groceries, you're in a position of privilege, and that is something that a lot of people on the left just fail to recognize.
Right.
And so many people, especially in rural areas, their number one concern is, how am I going to get by today?
Right.
How am I going to pay my bills?
More importantly, they don't even know what's going on in Gaza because you haven't done the work.
Well, most of them can't point at Gaza on a map.
Right. Do the work. You want to make that your coalition? You want to build that up to where it actually becomes the number one priority? Then do the work.
And I don't want to harp on Gaza as a particular thing. There's any number of other things we could insert into that lens, but ultimately, I think, Mike, what you're trying to say is to build coalitions and to bring people along on this journey, you need to make sense to them. You need to meet them where they are.
Right.
And your everyday moderate, your everyday independent, and I would even say your everyday Republican who isn't MAGA, right? They are concerned about things that are not meta or esoteric or about rights and privileges. They are concerned about, how do I feed my family? How do I put gas in my truck? And how do I make sure I have a job tomorrow?
Right.
And those are the primary motivational factors for them.
But
and
Kellen, I agree with you on that. I really do. But at the same time, I'm going to harp on this more and more. Do the work. If you want them to actually care about Gaza, then get your ass to Mount Pleasant.
That's right.
Get your ass to Centerville.
That's right.
Get your ass to Burlington. And don't just protest. Don't just go out and hold up a sign in the middle of the street. Go door to door. Go to Rotary. Go to Kiwanis and talk about it.
So
get people upset about it. Get them to make it their priority. Otherwise, all you're doing is throwing words at the air, and then you're attacking your fellow allies in the process because they're not doing enough about it,
right.
And you're harming their chances of winning, even though they,
But here's the real message, though. I mean, I have to eat my words on this because I said on this very podcast going into the 2024 election that I was like, Trump's not going to win. Like he's lost all the teachers, he's lost all the healthcare providers, and I was wrong. We're guilty of it. We make fun of the stereotypical MAGA all the time,
constantly.
But I think that's the key thing to remember is what those on the left sort of view as the stereotypical MAGA voter. Those aren't the people that they voted for Donald Trump, but you have to start figuring out why the hell it is that teachers voted for Donald Trump and candidates like him. Why nurses and physicians and people that work in hospitals that dealt with the things they dealt with during COVID voted for him. You have to understand why people who work in blue-collar labor union jobs vote for him. And it's because of the fact that for the last 10 years, Democrats have focused on the social issues.
Right.
And that's like been the purity test for those candidates.
The wedge issues.
Which are not those aren't coalitions of people and voters. Those are
Right.
issues.
And no,
They're wedge issues.
the Republicans weren't doing anything to fix those issues either, but they have been out there for the last 10 years saying the other side is the reason your life sucks.
That's right.
We've been in charge, but the other side is the reason your life sucks.
And
That's what they've been hearing.
That's right. And instead of meeting people where they are and saying, I hear you, here's the plan to move forward, here's how we're going to fix this, Democrats have done this purity test bullshit over and over and over again. And this doesn't happen on the right. And maybe this is something we can explore a little bit here with the minutes we have left. The purity test bullshit is what drives me nuts, because ultimately you need a candidate who can win. Electability. I posted a couple things on social media today and yesterday, just trying to probe a little bit and try to get the feel for what people think about electability. And electability isn't, I saw more than one comment that said something like electability is a scam from political consultants to try to convince you of X, Y, Z, or blah, 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 right? This is some bullshit. Ultimately, what matters is we need people in office who are responsible. We need people who are in office who care about the American people, who are going to do the right thing day in and day out. Whether or not they agree with your far left idea or your far right idea, it doesn't matter. What we need are responsible elected officials. And elections have consequences, and we see this constantly. And we need to put people in office who are going to be responsible. And to me, the most electable people are the people who can build coalitions, who are able to bring people into a bigger tent. And if all you're doing is evaluating candidates based on some purity tests on one single wedge issue, or two or three wedge issues, and those wedge issues are very, very off center, left or right, then all you're doing is contributing to the problem. And that's just, I don't know. For me, electability really comes down to coalition building. And
That's
I think that wraps back around to what you were saying, Mike.
Well, and I think that's it right there. What they infer over and over again is that electability is, are they a handsome white man who's a farmer and a doctor at the same time kind of shit, right? Are they your stereotypical blah, blah, blah? Yeah, I think in the presidency race, you get that a little more. But ultimately, and we know this because we know rural white men, they don't give a shit who's on the ballot. They give a shit about what letters next to the name. Every time. Because they are part of a coalition that Republicans have built in rural. They put the time in to say, D bad are good.
Right.
And you're in our group.
Right.
So you're part of our coalition. They don't care who's on the ballot. If it's a woman, a man, person of color, LGBTQ+, if there's an R next to their name in a general election, they're going to vote for that person.
And we see this time and time again. And
Yeah.
I've used this anecdote a couple times, and I'm going to put it, I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast, but I want to mention Tom O'Donnell's experience and what he wrote in the Des Moines Register.
It's a gentleman who's running for the Iowa House seat in our district here.
Right.
And he ran 2 years ago, and he's running again this year.
He put in the paper an op-ed that he wrote, and he described a scenario with a voter in his district. He was knocking doors, doing the canvassing thing as you're supposed to do as a candidate, and knocks on this door, comes up to this woman's house, knocks on the door, and they have a lengthy conversation. I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? A decent amount of time. And he talks about how they agree on everything. Every policy point he brings up, they agree on it. She is all on board, going on this curiosity journey with him, right? But then they get to the end of the conversation, and she says, "Oh, I love what you're saying, and I love the conversation we're having here. What party are you from?" And he says, "Well, I'm a Democrat." She says, "I can't vote for that," and it closes the door. Right? But that's so emblematic of what we're talking about here. People in white people in rural spaces have a distaste for the Democratic Party for a lot of different reasons. But ultimately, it's because they look out and they say, these people are way... In political science, there's a concept we call the Overton window. I don't know if you guys heard of this, the Overton window.
Yeah, we've talked about it here before a couple times.
Have we?
Yeah.
Have we talked about the Overton window? The Overton window, Overton is a scholar, but the Overton window is essentially the bounds within which we operate in reasonable terms. So what do we consider reasonable, sane, rational parts of political conversation in our society? And our Overton window as a society has been dramatically changed in the last 10 years. And that concept alone, just in terms of what we view as inbounds or out of bounds in terms of socially acceptable, has shifted our entire political system. And so now we have people driving around with trucks and pictures of Joe Biden bound and gagged on their tailgate, right? Like it's funny. And those same people will turn around and get really mad because you didn't respect Charlie Kirk appropriately after he got assassinated, right? So we have these like left and right extremes where we're going outside of this Overton window. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is, if we as in progressives in the pro-democracy group, I'm gonna say pro-democracy versus anything else, because I think that's what we are. We're not necessarily leftists. We're definitely not leftists. I wouldn't even put us in the liberal camp. I think we're pro-democracy, pro-America, and I would say progressive in the sense, the classical sense of progressives as in we want to see change and
Sure.
better things for our society, versus how that's kind of used pejoratively these days. But regardless of all that, if we're in that camp, we have to get other people to join us. And the people we need to join us view us as something less than. And so that's the mission, especially if we're talking about a scenario where we have an electoral college, we have a system that allows some people to have greater voice than others, and a lot of that has to do with rural. If we want to get people into our coalition, we have to change how we speak, how we think, how we communicate our ideas, and we can't be outside that Overton window. We can't be way out there in terms of how we interact, because that leads to interactions like the interaction Tom O'Donnell had.
Right. And there's an irony there, because I've used the cuss word like 40 times today in this episode alone. And I've been very aggressive and assertive in my stances and how I feel about this. And I'm probably outside the Overton window. What's civil?
I don't think you are.
Well, I'm just pissed now at this point, because I've watched so many people, especially in the last couple of weeks, as Terrell's made his last little push to try to survive this. And like, we don't need more extreme. We don't need that. We need someone who's centered, period. And I'm just frustrated that allies are now attacking each other. Now, notice, Christine is not attacking Terrell at all.
No.
Right? But she is being openly attacked by people I consider allies, people I consider smart about how they see the world and view and empathetic. But she is being absolutely throttled because she is not saying the things that Terrell is willing to openly say, that we know full well won't get him elected.
Right.
Because he is not a safe landing point. And I think that speaks to your Overton window really, really well. I think it's...
Well, I think the Overton window is quite simply this. It's no longer Democrat or Republican, left or right. I think you have basically two groups of people that we should be looking at. One is the crowd that basically has the opinion of, I got mine and fuck the rest of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the other side is, I want us all to do well.
Yeah.
What to our listeners, what side do you want to be on with that?
And
yeah,
it's not that small a group. The fuck everybody else. Like when I was running for Tom O'Donnell's seat that he's running for, right? I went and spoke to a bunch of farmers, and it was a great conversation. But I did have a piece where we were talking about hog confinements, right? And it was in Jefferson County, Iowa, and they're very anti-hog confinements, having more being put in because of the damage it does to the environment. And he questioned me as a Democrat. He was a Republican. He said, I want to grow my business. I run hogs. Like I have confinements. I rent out my facilities, and I want to grow. And you want to regulate that and push back at my ability to grow my business. And then I don't want to be taxed to high heaven. I want the progressive tax I want to have eliminated, which they did, the Iowa progressive income tax.
Right.
Because I don't think it's fair because I'm successful that I get taxed more. And so if I ever become a billionaire, this is how he put it. If I ever become a billionaire, I want the system to be in a place that's not going to harm me.
Right.
And push back. You know what? Like that's one of those people that I'm going to look out for myself and fuck the rest of you.
Right.
I don't care what you bring in front of me. It's all about my family and my life and my money and generational wealth, right? Those people exist, and they're not just Trump's friends. They exist at the level of hog farmer in Iowa. They're going to be there.
Absolutely.
We don't need their vote. We need 51%. We need enough people to vote for sanity against the crap we're dealing with right now, both at the state level and the federal level. We just need a few.
We need a coalition.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
He doesn't have to be in that coalition. That's
Right.
okay. Let the asshole greedy bastard hang out to dry. I don't really care.
Right.
Like he's choosing that path. He doesn't give a shit about everybody else. We don't have to give a shit about him. We will, because that's what we do.
Right.
As Democrats. That's why I am a Democrat. We'll still give a shit about him. We'll still pass shit that benefits him in a good, healthy, humanitarian way. Like college education for his kids,
Right.
Universal health care, shit like that.
Solid
But like
public schools.
yeah, decent, yeah. But
Healthcare systems that work.
yep, he can participate in all that. But we don't need his vote. We need other people's votes, and we have to have the coalitions to bring him in. And if we keep screwing over those coalitions and keep attacking ourselves in the process of supporting our own issues, that's the best way to put it.
Well,
We're attacking our own allies in order to get our issue heard instead of doing the work to make people care about our issue more, the actual work. That's what's frustrating to me.
Yeah, that's what I think what's frustrating me too is you have a lot of folks who say, well, if people would just realize XYZ, well, it's like, okay, go out and do the work.
Help them realize it. Yeah.
Right. Because they don't realize it.
No, they have no clue it's happening. Go do the work. Go talk to people.
Right.
That's the part we're missing because they'd rather just yell. And I realize we're doing the same thing to a certain extent. But like, go do the work.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on my soapbox a lot today, guys. I apologize. But it's frustrating right now to watch us sort of tear ourselves apart at the seams while such blatant and utter corruption is happening.
Well, yeah, we
Honest.
started this episode all around the slush fund, right? And the obvious corruption that's going on. And yeah, we've kind of come full circle here because this is what happens when you don't build coalitions and you go into your corners and you retreat into your isolation and you say, nobody is worthy of my vote unless they do XYZ, and you're not willing to expand your mind in a way that allows you to, I don't know, vote. Let's just be honest, vote for somebody who doesn't entirely agree with you. This is where we end up.
Right.
This is where we end up. And I even think back to 2016.
I was going there to the Bernie Sanders phenomenon.
Right.
Hillary Clinton.
Right. That's where my mind goes. And I go back to 2016 and I just if
Mostly rural white men screwed us over.
right.
I mean, that's the Bernie bros.
Right. And they stayed home.
Yep.
And brought us Trump. And I'm willing to put that out there and say, Yeah, that's why we had Trump to begin with, was because people were putting out these purity tests, and they said Hillary Clinton isn't liberal enough for me. I can't vote for her. I'm going to stay home.
Or Hillary Clinton isn't labor enough for me.
Right.
That was one of them.
Right.
You know, like that was very true in the Midwest, and we lost our election.
And here we are. Jacob Dodds.
We got going. What do you got, Jacob? Round us up. Finish us up. What do you got?
How can I finish that up? I think you guys summed it up pretty well. I teed it up for you.
Yeah,
And
you
you
did.
went with
Yeah,
it.
you did.
He did tee it up for us. Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Can you tell us about the intricacies of pool lining?
I think we covered that last episode.
I know, but I was just seeing. I'm trying to goad Jacob into a long diatribe here. I don't know how to do it.
It took me a minute. It is getting late.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you seen the most recent pictures of that?
I saw the ones that Trump posted. They look beautiful. The reflecting pool looks beautiful in Trump's AI video or AI photos.
Well, they've put a fence up around the whole thing now with like a so you can't see in.
Here's a great segue for you guys. You know what they put up? You know what they put up around the reflecting pool so you can't see in?
A wall.
No,
Oh, that would have been good. What do you got?
no. Tarps.
Tarps, huh?
Tarps.
Are we really going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals reference here? Is that the goal? Is that where we're going?
Tarps off, boys.
Tarps off, boys.
No.
Should we go shirtless real quick?
Midwestern white men are weird. I'm sorry, guys. We are. We're really weird.
So if you're not a baseball fan, there's a baseball phenomena going on right now. It started in St. Louis because of the phenomena. Because of the St. Louis Cardinals, it's spreading across the MLB. But the St. Louis Cardinals had a group of topless men in their outfield. So it's a new trend in the MLB. Tarps off, boys.
That's a good way to end it, I think.
Probably a few treasure trails.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Properly coiffed treasure trails.
Properly coiffed treasure trails, yes. But maybe DC needs to take a few notes from the MLB here, right?
St. Louis Cardinals.
Tarps off, boys.
Well, I mean, Trump is having a UFC fight on the South Lawn.
Oh shit, that's really happening, isn't it?
Is this still? Was that? I thought it was over. Or was this part of the 250
Well,
celebration?
He's got to get it done before they build his helipad because he wants to build a helipad too.
Oh, he's also building a drone launch pad off the east wing, right? Did you hear this?
This has been an episode of 3 World White Guys podcasts. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to
Beer
Chris
decorator
Hausman for
too.
our theme song. And we will see you next week.
Up and down. National math scores are slipping, but we're better than ever at division. No, something about this isn't adding up. Every day is a new battle, trying to keep our ass in the saddle. Now they're rounding us up like cattle in a truck. What the fuck? They're high up on that horse, we're down here fighting.